We are so very grateful for everyone taking the time out of their day to give us a quick listen, along with a show of support. You can find our full talks on Spotify, YouTube, and any of our quick clips and community chats on Facebook, Instagram, and we're even on TikTok. But you know what the real thing is? You should probably go and do your dishes. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. Everything is fucked. You don't know why, but you want to justify. Rip yourself off. Welcome. I'm Adina.
I'm Melissa.
And this is the Black and the White of it. And today we're going to talk about living unapologetically.
We're going to talk about not justifying.
I ain't justifying shit. Okay, so, well, how do you live unapologetically? Actually, what does that even mean?
I was going to say, I don't know.
It literally means living unapologetically.
So, yeah, what does that look like for you?
Hmm.
Not justifying and ripping someone's head off.
It's the song that woke up in my mind, and that's the song you guys are getting today. Okay, great. Living unapologetically for me is I show up as I am, and like that's just me. I'm not gonna tailor it. If I show up in a bad mood, I'll be like, "Yo, I ain't feeling it today, but you made me come." So
here I am,
specifically.
But you always leave happy.
I do. She does drag me out to a lot of stuff, and it does end up changing my mood a little bit.
You give me a heads up.
Yes, I always give a heads up. But that's not apologizing, though. That's kind of like pre-warning.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. And that's a vulnerability in itself, though. And it's a transparency that I truly live with.
Then I just know I got to amp it up.
Fuck. Do you ever? Fucking pain in my ass. There's going to be a lot of swearing today because, again, I'm unapologetically me, and that's the way that I am. I keep saying I'm going to work on it. I don't think I am.
No.
I think I lied.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think it's one of those type situations. You're not old, but...
I was just going to say, how rude. How rude.
You can't, there's no teaching new tricks on that one.
Okay, but do you live unapologetically?
Well, and I was just going to say, I think the same goes for like our podcast. Like there's going to be some weeks where we don't put out.
I don't put out.
An episode.
That was too perfect to not do that. But no, like, yeah, and we were very transparent, and I was very forthcoming when we started this. I mean, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the first one. My kids are my priority, and the life that I'm living is my priority. So we've missed 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks of like real recording. We've managed to put things out. But
well, we're not going to give you guys shit, so if we can't make it happen, we can't make it happen.
Straight up.
That's okay. Life happens.
Yeah. And I'm very unapologetic.
Yeah.
There's so many times we record stuff and it goes back to Melissa and comes back to me and I'm like, nope. And I don't care. She keeps trying to like, you're fine. You'll just like it. No, I won't. The more you say that, the more I know I won't. That's one way that I live unapologetically. True. Me. I know that I am or can be a difficult person to work with. How are you finding that? Because you've known two sides of the coin.
Yeah, and I think I knew, I knew this about you. No, and not that it's just you're very specific and detail oriented, and so I knew all these things about you. But it was easy to just be like, yeah, that's just who she is. And now working with you on the flip side of it, I'm like, okay, yes, that's just how she is. But now I have to
bear the brunt,
counteract that. And deal with it more on a level that matters.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And the part where the unapologetically comes in is like, I'm not changing that. And even if it's you, like it's not changing. And I was a little like apprehensive at first because I'm like,
this is going to break our friendship.
Yeah, like, because I'm not budging. And like, you're just too sweet to budge. So I'm just like, damn. But so far you're doing good.
Well, yeah. And I think there's some things that I'm like, okay, I just need to let her have this. And then there's other times where I'm like, let's just try it. And I think you are doing good at giving too. That like give and take. We're getting there.
We're working on it.
There was a couple times already I was like, oh boy. It's going to be the podcast or our friendship.
Straight up, right? How else do you show up unapologetically?
I think I just like live my life like that, to be honest. And I think more so since I've had kids. Like since I've had kids, I was kind of like holidays, for example. I was like, when it comes to holidays, I'm staying home. I'm not going out. I'm not dragging my kids out. We're gonna do what we do on the day, and I don't think that was liked by everybody. And I just kind of didn't care. I made it work. Like we would go and see my family after or whatever, but I was just kind of like, this is what works for us, and this is what I want for my kids, and it's my time to create my things for my family. So
I like that.
I think that's a big one.
Because, yeah, you shouldn't, I don't, especially for stuff like that. And I think it's kind of silly that people feel the need to be sorry about that. Like your core unit, your core family should be the end all be all of anything else. Like there's no negotiation, for me at least, there's no negotiation for that. And that's unfortunate that people feel like they have to bend to the wills of others.
Yeah.
I'm unapologetic about that. I don't, like, if I'm set in something, like, you cannot convince me. You can come with me with the fanciest, prettiest, sweetest treats ever, and I'm not budging. I don't care. I'm set. It actually makes it worse when people come at me and try to, like, butter me up. Like, I'm now even more rooted because why are you trying so hard? That's when the apologies really ain't coming out for that. But do you find it hard to say sorry on like on a regular?
No. Well, okay. Maybe. Because if I think it's in the way somebody approaches me. Like if I'm in an argument with somebody and it's just like, you did this and you did this and you did this and you did this, I'm going to go on the defense and I'm not going to really understand your side. But if you come to me in like a calm manner and you're like, this is how I see it, and like we have a conversation about it, and then I can be level-headed and see like, yeah, okay, maybe I was wrong, then I will apologize.
Okay.
But when you come at me like you
accusing,
no,
you're like, no.
And when you get me to a point where I'm like really pissed off and upset, then I'm going to say all the things that I haven't ever said to you. They're all going to come out, and I'm never going to apologize for them because I mean them. You know, some people, when they get in arguments, they're like, oh, I just said that because I was angry. No. If I say it, I mean it, and I'm not going to apologize for it. It's been brewing probably for a very long time, and I didn't want to hurt your feelings before, but now you went and fucked up, and you made me mad. Now it's all going to come out.
All right, fair enough. All right. Yeah,
I'm like sweet until I'm not.
I have yet to see this side of her, so I think I'm doing good.
Yeah, because we don't fight.
No, we don't. Okay, so here's the difference between not like there's fighting and then there's like constructive, like we can talk. Yes. You actually have conversations, because there's plenty of times that we've come to like a disagreement, and we'll either like agree to disagree and we'll still go off and do whatever the hell we were going to do in the first place.
Yep.
Or we'll be like, oh, okay, we'll take a moment and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not seeing it from the right view, and something will change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do fight. We just don't we don't get nasty and catty. I think the level of respect that we have for each other doesn't allow for that.
Yeah. And I think we're both just kind of like, I ain't got time for that. Let's just freaking, what's the issue?
Yeah, I ain't got time.
Put it out there and let's resolve it.
I don't play games. If you want to play games, go find another friend, please.
There's no time for that. We're too busy living our lives unapologetically.
Straight up. Straight up.
What else do you do that you do unapologetically?
I live unapologetically.
Keep your house clean.
I do. I don't apologize for that. And anybody that wants to sit there and be like, she just cleans all day. First of all, I don't, because I'm sitting at a goddamn bench. There's no dishes in my sink. My house is clean. You could walk in there and it friggin' like, do you know what I mean? So no, I don't apologize for that. And anyone that tries to make me feel like bad or a type of way, yeah, don't talk to me anymore. Oh, that's disgusting. Why are you questioning someone's clean? Why are you getting me on this banter again?
Okay, I'm not. Let's switch over to kids. Because I think there's a lot of things that we probably do in the way that we mom, that people... Mother.
Rear our children.
It's almost Friday. Rear our children. That some people would kind of look at us like,
that's a bit much.
You don't do self-care. You don't go on date nights. You don't. No, I don't. I'm not sorry about it.
I am unapologetic to how I connect with my kids. It's very different from others. I do not coddle my children, and I don't apologize for that. And I don't change it when I'm out around people. And that might make people feel very uncomfortable. And it might make them look at me a type of way. And that's okay. But my kid isn't over there throwing a tantrum or friggin' crying their head off over a friggin' scrape. And I'm very unapologetic about that. It might seem cold from the outside, but it's our family. It's how I've decided to do things, and I don't think it's detrimental to them. Obviously, there's going to be some instances where I am going to need to coddle, and from my little black heart, I pull out the energy to do it, and I do it. Okay, so they are not lacking of.
This is a complete black and white situation, because she is very much like that, and I am very much opposite, but unapologetically, because when I'm around you, it's not like I try not to do it. Like, my kid falls and I go and hug them and
I walk away.
Whatever it is.
Because I don't think the children should see the look on my face. I'm protecting the children.
I can feel the look. I don't even have to look at her. I can feel it.
I love that we have that, though, and we both know how that is, because there's some instances, like one of my girls will get hurt or whatever, and I can feel that you want to just go over there and like scoop them up, and I have to like stare you down. I have to stare you down. Like,
it's hard.
Don't
sometimes.
You dare pick her up.
Or it's like they know you won't do it, but they're like, Melissa, and I'm like, if I do this, am I going to get beaten? So sometimes I just risk it and do it, and other times I'm like, ask your mom. But I think you've come to the conclusion now where you're just like, I'm not going to do it. If she's stupid enough to do it, then
I've straight up said that out loud. I'm like, if I'm not going to do it, but if she's a sucker enough to do it, go for it. But don't expect it from me. And they usually go to you. They're usually like, oh, okay, great. But that's how we show up unapologetically.
Yeah.
We don't change ourselves based on who's around us or what's going on around us. And I think that's very important. But how do you think we came up into that space? Like,
experience, maybe? Like, I don't know. I think maybe for me, like when Javon was born, because I feel especially when you have your first baby, it's like everybody in the world has advice and this and that, and you just kind of learn to take it with a grain of salt. And it is what it is. You take what you want, and then, but you can't be apologizing to somebody for not taking their advice. So I think I was just kind of like, I know my kid, and I know what's gonna work best for my kid, and I'm gonna do what's best.
That's very true.
I'm not going to be sorry about it.
Each of your kids are different, so how you parent them is going to be very different one from the next.
Yeah.
And that really doesn't hit you until you have that second kid and that third kid, and then you're just like, holy, I have 3 psychopaths, and they all
psycho differently.
Yeah. They're on the clock. I remember when Esme and Elias were, I think it was like 3 and 1, right? And they would have what I would call choir hour. I don't know what the hell it was, but they would both just end up crying at the same time for the longest time. And the only way that I could like cope with it was to make a joke of it. And it was just like, yeah, it's quiet hour. Oh, there goes Esme. She's on the high notes. There's Leia coming in with that. Like, I would literally like do a talk show, and it usually brought them out of the crying. And if we were in public, I would just look at people and just like, it's choir hour. And they'd be like, what? I'm like, it's choir. They're singing. This is what's happening, and we go about our day. And I was very unapologetic about that. It drives me crazy when parents are out with their kids and the kids like melting down. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Who do you apologize? Like, you couldn't control that. It's a child. Like, you don't need to apologize for living. And that
kids are supposed to melt down. We all melt down. I think as an adult, you just learn like the time and place to do it. But kids don't have that, and so it's normal for them to have meltdowns. To
I'm-
what degree?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My girls are pretty good about like the meltdowns. They do have their moments. They tend to do it at home in like their safety of home. So when we are out and it does happen, people get really caught off guard because my girls, they're not like that. But when it
Yeah.
does happen, like something's going on, and again, pull from the little black heart of mine, and here I am, all lovey and stuff, and then we're back at it 5 minutes later because I'm over it.
So you're gonna be too.
And we revisit it at bedtime, and rah 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 for all of you out there thinking, man, she's a hard mom.
She's cold.
I am cold, and I don't apologize. I'm just kidding. My husband counteracts it.
One. Only one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, go play. I'm also don't apologize for that. Go, just go play.
Man.
And that happens often too.
Is there a time where you have to apologize?
Yes. There's well, I can see your eyes.
What? I'm listening. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I think if it's warranted, then 100%.
Do you apologize to your kids?
Yes,
Yeah.
1,000%.
I think that's
know
very important.
there are certain times of the month when I get snappy, and I've come to realize that it's they're not doing anything different. They
Yeah.
are doing completely the same. I'm just much more tolerant of it when it's not that time of the month, and I can wholeheartedly admit
Why are you
that
so afraid to say period? Period. Or cycle?
because it's not when I'm on my period.
I hope
It's
that
like,
you're a
it's just
man and you're
before.
watching this and I just said period blood. Everywhere. Everything.
Okay. I'm a woman and I don't want to hear it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I know that I get super snappy, and so it's in those times that I'm like, once I've calmed down, I'm like, listen, it's not you, it's me. So
I am very
cliche,
very transparent with my girls about my moods. Like if I wake up and I know that I'm just like not having it, I'm not having it.
yeah.
Today is not Mom's Day and I'm going to be speaking this way or whatever else. And some people might think that that's not good, but we're human. And I feel like by me being able to say that with my kids, when specifically my oldest is in a mood, she's free to say it and she'll tell me. And then I need to, act accordingly and be mindful of that and respectful of that and let her have that moment. But a really great piece of advice that was given to me about children is that they are always in their joy. So when they are untouched and unmoved, they will always operate in the mode of joy. And sometimes that can be not safe for them, but most of the time that's like, you just sit back and watch them.
Yeah.
And they're just happy. And then we come in with our rules and regulations and fuck that up and then expect them to still be happy about life.
Well, and I think by being transparent with your girls, like, you're setting them up for real life.
Yeah, man.
Like when they have a job and they have a boss, like, there's gonna be days where your boss is not in a good mood.
But don't take it personally.
Yeah, no.
It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
How I'm feeling is nothing to do with you. Your dad probably pissed me off. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to you that your dad pissed me off. Let's be real. It's usually the root of the problem.
Oh, they're so delightful, really. But yeah, I think it's important to live unapologetically and show up as you are and try not to bend to the will of what's happening around with you and the people that are around you.
Yeah, because what does it look like if you are living your life apologizing all the time?
You're a people pleaser.
See, and I used to be a people pleaser, like through and through. It was like I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, I still don't like hurting people's feelings, but I used to like.
I would say over the last 3 years, you've gotten pretty. Like you've surprised me.
Oh, I wonder why that is. Let's look at the timeline of when we met. But I think it's because that's so funny.
It's the truth though.
But I think it's because I see the way that you are and the way that you live, and I'm like,
there's an ease in it. There's an ease in not like living unapologetically and living authentically to yourself. Because everybody says, I want to live authentically. Okay, great. But are you doing it based on what you've seen portrayed and that's what you're trying to mold yourself to, or are you authentically living for yourself? Like, I do not apologize for any parts of me for the things that I say or how I do them. I mean, when I misstep or if I overstep, then yes, an apology is needed, because then that's just my ego. But me, like, as a child, I live for joy. I want to be happy. I want to be comfortable. And you cannot do that living at the will of other people. It's just not, it's not going to happen.
So you've always lived your life like this?
No.
Oh.
No.
So when did it happen
impossible.
for you? When do you think it happened for you? Was there like a light bulb moment where you're like, fuck everything. I'm going to do me?
I think it really took root when I had my girls, because I wanted to be a good example to them, for them. And I knew that I didn't have that growing up. But I think the seed was planted when I came upon my worthiness as a person.
Ding, ding, ding. Me
Yeah.
too.
when you realize, like, yeah, like, why can't I have that? Why am I not able to, like, why can't I have that? And who is the one that's awarding these things in my life? Nobody is. Absolutely nobody is. You are. So if you don't have it, it's because you decided that you can't have it. Yep. Trust me, if you want it, you'll find a way to it. Ask my husband.
That's the same thing for me. I went on like a self-love journey, and I was kind of just like, why? Why am I trying to please you when it's making me miserable? That's very backwards. And then I was just kind of like,
what really burns me is like when you're miserable and the people that you have shorted yourself for are perfectly happy and comfortable, and they are oblivious to the pain that you inflicted on yourself.
Yep.
Because you shorted yourself.
Your own will.
Yeah. And then you're sitting here miserable and they're happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, it's so funny because that's the lessons that I'm with my girls right now, with people that are like rude to them or shorting them. And I'm like, so then leave them. Leave them there and let them be miserable. Because once you remove yourself from them, what do they have? Themselves. And they're miserable, right? Good. Let them continue. Now you go off and find something and be happy.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be watching you and so confused, because I don't think that a lot of people do it ill-intentioned. I really think it's just like a weird, twisted thing that we have inside of ourselves.
Well, I think it stems from like childhood, because especially when you're young and somebody says like they're proud of you or you're doing a good job, like you like that encouragement and validation. Yeah. So I think it just continues. And then as you get older, depending like how your life goes, that continues, or you strive for that until you reach an age or you have some kind of light bulb moment where you're just like, what am I doing?
One thing that I've really started with my girls that I really hope that I can get ahead of it a little bit is when they do something, I ask if they're proud of it.
Yeah.
So my girls are 6 and 3, and they make their own beds when they wake up in the morning.
4.
And
your daughter's
6
4.
and 4. Oh, 6 and 4. Sorry. They make their beds themselves in the morning, and I'll always ask, specifically, I focus more on my 6-year-old, and I'll ask her, I'll say, are you proud of that? Are you proud of the way that looks to you? And sometimes she'll sit there and be like, yep. And it looks disastrous. And I'll be like, okay, if that's how you want it to be seen, then that's the way. And other days, it's like, it looks like I made the damn bed. But I let her have her pride in, like, I don't ever change that answer. And I try so hard to not go in and fix that bed. And I've done good, guys. I've done really good, because I want her to come back into the room and see the bed the way it was, right? But that every time they do something is saying, are you proud of it? Because they'll come and they'll say, Mom, look. I'm like, oh, I'll say something about the colors. But I really like the blues. I really like the purples. I like the way that you did this. And then I'm like, are you really proud of it? And then they'll give an answer. Because I don't need them getting validation from other people. And I mean, you can't get away from it. But I feel like the more that they do it themselves, they're going to get their mom's attitude of be like, no, what I gave you is what I am proud of. And I'll never, you can't short people when you do things that way. When you're actually always presenting the best of what you're willing to give, you will never feel like you've shorted someone.
Yeah. I love that. You're literally teaching them to live unapologetically. Literally.
Yeah.
I love that.
But anyways, we'd love to hear.
I mean,
how
if you want to make us a video,
Yeah.
have at it.
That'd be great too. PG, please.
You can say fuck.
Yeah. But how do you live unapologetically? And how do you show up unapologetically? Are you struggling with it? Are you doing it? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Let us know. Down below.
Yeah, comment. Stop being
headlines.
afraid to comment on it. Seriously. I just caught that. Have a good one, guys.
See you on the next one.